Gnodi Seuton, love, peace, blessing, all manner of goodness, happiness, healing, health, wealth, joy, love, all of the good, positive, supporting energies, feelings, and emotions that energize you, that build you up, that don't drain you, that actually fill you with positive energy and strengthen you. Something good is going to happen to you today. And Genothi Seuton, know yourself, know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. As above, so below. And so what's the point? What's the point of all of these energy ideas, all of these ways of looking at the world and thinking? Well, the point is, if you don't have a direction that you are going in, if you don't have a chosen direction, you're going to end up going in just whatever direction you find yourself influenced by. When you think of all of the people over the ages who have died on the battlefield, they gave their life for someone else's direction, someone else's focus. Most of these battles were fought just to go to someone else's land, trespass on their land, kill them, and take their stuff. And so what benefit do you think there was in that? I mean, how much do you think the soldiers actually benefited from that? And look at what they turned their lives into. They believed that that was something that was noble. For them to lay down their life and give their life to sacrifice themselves for someone else's vision. And then when you look back, you recognize that most of those people and their visions were, can we use the word evil? Yeah, downright evil. And so, of course, that's the extreme. But the influence is still around us today. Look at the situations that we find ourselves in as a quote-unquote modern society, supposedly more wise and more intelligent than our ancestors. And look at how the world just recently willingly subjected their bodies to a situation unproven and untested, without scientific verification to back it up. And look how practically the whole entire planet fell for it. And maybe you haven't heard about some of the new developments, but I would strongly suggest everyone to follow RFK Jr. and find out what he has been uncovering, what he has been disclosing. Find out what he has brought to light, and find out if you were in a situation where you were without knowledge or even your own ideas about a subject, just blindly walking into something obediently that was very similar, if not identical, to walking into a battlefield just because somebody told you that you should do it. And it's very sobering. It's something to consider for your own self and for your own good. What is the point? Why are we here? What are we doing here? What is our life all about? Who am I? What is the meaning of life? And when we start asking those questions, of course, everything that has been programmed inside of us to keep us in a system, to keep us on the battlefield or on the way to the battlefield, to use us as a human guinea pig to try out different types of drugs and therapies. For who? Again, it's very sobering information, and but you need to think about it. We need to think about it, because that's the point. That's what the point is. What is best for us personally is what is healthy for us personally, and to recognize that there are influences that are toxic, whether they be substances, additives, drugs, people, governments. Who knows what type of influences are influencing us at the moment. But we have to recognize that this is something that's going on. This is something that's happening. And when we recognize things, we recognize consciousness, we can take a step back. We can disconnect from programming that has, given us certain ideas about what is good for us. Maybe what is good for you is imposed upon you as the greater good. The greater good for who? The greater good for an elite few who are, building a utopia for themselves. And all you have to do is look at these people and recognize that they full-heartedly believe that the earth has a problem, and the problem is there are too many humans. And of course, they don't believe that they're the problem and they're the humans that are the problem. It's all the rest of people. And so you find that when it's really, really weird, throughout history, that when individuals raise to a certain point of power, next thing they start doing is exterminating other humans. And it happens in every culture. It's been happening, as far as we know, since the Babylonians. It's been happening, well, even the Sumerians. It just goes back to recorded time that when you have the few that raise to a certain point of power, they all end up believing that they need to kill a bunch of other people. And so what is that? What are they actually channeling? What is controlling them? What is the mind that is actually controlling their mind? What type of influence does that? Where do we see that happening? Well, we see that in the world of parasites. We see that in the world of fungal parasites. People may not realize it, but Candida has been, developed and advanced to a point where some people have an overgrowth of Candida in their body. Candida can actually release chemicals in someone's gut and make them feel like they're hungry for ice cream. And all of a sudden you're sitting there and then you feel, oh man, I'm hungry for ice cream. But you're not. You're hungry for, well, who knows, maybe you don't even have any hunger at that time, but they have proven that it's Candida that is doing that. I'm sure you've all seen zombie ants, even up to the level of zombie moose, all sorts of animals that have been utterly taken over and controlled by these parasites. And we find out that there could be, well, just, look into it yourself, into CIA research, FBI research, that have found, different dimensions, different realms of energetic influence that are totally run and ruled by parasites, and they are able to send psychic messages through to our realm and to use people. And you may even discover that that's how they use the people who raise up in power, and then next thing you know, they have it in their mind to kill everybody else. So what is the point? Well, the point is for you to recognize all of these things so that you don't miss out, so that you don't find yourself out in the battlefield somewhere, so that you don't find yourself plugged into somebody else's matrix, so you don't find yourself building a matrix system to control our children or our children's children, and so that you do find yourself fulfilling your own authentic life to be able to ascend in your own non-toxic energy that is not toxic to you or anyone else, that practices ahimsa, that does no harm, and so that you are able to ascend into higher realms of existence where this form of murder and killing does not exist. Ganothi Seyutan, love, peace, blessing unto you and your family. Namaste.